Good morning. Okay, so it's been a couple of weeks since we've done second step, but hopefully you remember this conversation that mom and grandma were having. Um, and we talked about how each one of them had a different point of view about screen time. When we understand someone's point of view, we have empathy for them. So, do you think mom and grandma have empathy for each other right now? They don't really have empathy for each other because they don't understand each other's point of view. It's hard to have empathy when you don't understand what the other person is thinking. What might happen when mom and grandma try to agree on screen time without understanding each other's point of view? Yeah, they're probably going to argue. So it'll be tough for them to agree, and they may not be able to show kindness and understanding in this situation. But it doesn't have to be this way. Let's learn what to do to understand a different point of view. Okay, I gotta move myself over here so I can click next. Okay, so we've got Austin and Max here, who are both fourth graders, and they're being asked to work together. So Austin says, "Hey Max, let's do our report on Earth. It's the best planet in the universe." Max says, "No way, Austin. Earth is not the best. I like Saturn. How are we going to agree?" So what's the situation here? Well, they have to choose a planet, and they have two different opinions. They can't agree. And they also have different points of view, but they have to agree to do that project. So let's see what they do. Max says, do a report on Earth? Why do you think that? Well, it's the easiest. We know a lot about Earth because we live here. What's your experience with reports? Is there a reason you want to choose an easy planet? There are so many steps to writing a report. I worry I'm not going to get it all done. Research is hard, and that's just the first step. So what does Max learn about Austin? He learns that Austin worries about getting the report done. And how does Max find that out? He asks questions. So a way to find out more about someone's point of view is to ask questions. Well, Max, why do you think we should choose Saturn? Planets are cool. I like to find stuff out about them. Did you know Saturday is named for Saturn? That is my favorite day of the week. I didn't know that, but now your shirt is making a lot of sense to me. What's your experience with writing reports? I like reports. Research is the fun part. I know some great websites about Saturn. So what did Austin learn about Max? He likes planets. He likes doing research. And what does Austin do to learn about Max? He asks questions. So both asked the same question. Why do you think that? Questions. The first one was, why do you think that? And what is your experience? So if you jot those questions down on a little note or on your worksheet, we'll use those in a bit. So if you can find this worksheet, you'll see on the top it already has, what's your experience? And the other question is, why do you think that? Okay. So after they ask those questions, we understand more about both boys' points of view. Austin also noticed Max's t-shirt. It told him planets might be important to Max. Observing what people say and do is another way to learn about their points of view. Now that Austin and Max understand each other better, what do you think will happen? All right, let's pick Saturn since you know some good websites. Sounds like a plan. I can keep checking with you to make sure you feel okay about getting our report done on time. So look what happened. Asking questions helped Austin and Max have empathy for each other, which helps them get along better. Asking questions was also a way to show they care about each other's thoughts and feelings. Let's see if this could work for mom and grandma. So now you'll help mom and grandma have empathy for each other. Last time we learned about the experiences that shaped their points of view about screen time, but they never talked to each other about why they think the way they do. So what I want you to do is use your handout to write a conversation between mom and grandma. You can include both the questions they could ask to understand each other and their responses. So you can use the same questions that helped Max and Austin, or you can come up with your own. So when we did this, we discovered that on the first side of the paper, that is where Grandma starts out by saying, what's your experience growing up with computers? So Mom's going to answer here, and then Mom can ask either here or here. Mom's going to ask a question. So this is how a conversation works. Then Grandma can give her answer, and then Grandma can ask a question. And then there's more question bubbles or conversation bubbles on the back. So you want to write a conversation that Mom and Grandma would have, and each one is going to ask those questions, unless you can come up with your own questions, which you're welcome to do. So the two questions that you jotted down were, why do you think that? And what's your experience? Okay, so you can pause the video while you write your conversation down and then come back. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you wrote out your conversation. And did you think of other questions that would be helpful besides why do you think that and what's your experience with? How can understanding each other's point of view help? Did you find that in your conversation, Mom and Grandma kind of came to an understanding about each other? So asking questions could help Mom and Grandma understand each other better and feel like the other person cares about them. They could also learn more by observing. For example, Mom might notice what it's like for Grandma when Grandma uses a screen on her own. When we were doing this discussion in class, some kids even had Mom offer to help Grandma to show her how to use the computer and how it can be helpful. So when you don't understand someone's point of view, it's important to learn more. And that's our second step lesson for today.